Hi guys, I usually do bigger amp reviews, amplifiers, mostly clone amplifiers from Chinese manufacturers, but I also do some reviews for the smaller stuff, for the D-class amplifiers. Why? Because of two reasons. The first one is I strongly believe that D-class amplifiers are the future of HiFi audio equipment. They are being developed by many companies and the development is quite fast. And the second one is that these are quite affordable and usually are very small. And since I'm working partially from home, I'm spending a lot of time in front of my computer. It's like 2 or 3 days a week, and I'd like to have good quality audio there. So I've built self-designed speakers for my workplace, for my computer. But since I don't have a lot of space on my desk, I'm looking always for small footprint devices that can power them the best possible way. So one of the amplifiers that I was eyeing for quite a while now is Fosi DA-2120A. It's actually not only an amplifier, but does include digital to analog converter inside, which is actually something that got my attention. And it also has powered subwoofer output, and these are the three things that I am looking for my desktop setup. So the amplifier, the digital to analog converter integrated, and subwoofer output, because these are the three things that I do need. I'm using powered subwoofer to augment my speakers. And having just one device, having just all integrated in one device, digital to analog converter and amp in one, uses my desktop space in a little better way. Okay, so it has everything I need integrated. It has a very small footprint. It comes with a remote, but I'll get to that. Let's start with a couple of informations. The first one, associated equipment that I've been using during my test is described in the video description underneath. And if you'll be interested in buying these, I'll give you a link in the description of the video for the store that I got this unit from. Okay, so specifications in quite random order. The first thing, it has Bluetooth input. Bluetooth is in 5.0 version. It does have aptX and IPTX HD, so that's good if you're using Bluetooth to connect to your phone or your tablet. It's always good to have good quality codec available. As for the digital to analog section, it's good up to 24 bits and 192 kilohertz, and that's realized by CM6642 chipset. It's Class D amplifier. The official specification says it's good up to 50 watts into 4 ohms per channel, but I've checked the manufacturer specification, the actual D-class chip manufacturer specification, and that's measured with 10% of THD, so that's quite a lot. The real figure for 1% of THD would be something like 27 watts per channel, so that's basically perfect for running your desktop speakers. By the way, the D-class amplifier inside is STA350BW by STM Microelectronics. So it's not your typical TPA by Texas Instruments implementation. This STA chip is very interesting because it's not only an amplifier, it can also do some equalization, you can do tone controls, it can do some EQ presets and loudness and a couple of other things. Internally, it's processing all the signals at 96 kilohertz frequency, sampling frequency, so that's quite okay. Okay, the numbers for the audio characteristics by the manufacturer are that it has THD less than 0.01% and signal to noise ratio is above 105 decibels. The A letter in the model number is significant because there is a whole family of DA-2120 amplifiers, desktop amplifiers, and this one is the smallest one with the smaller power output, which is actually something that I was looking for, because I was looking for something that's small. I won't be powering for full floor standing speakers with this, but I do want to my near field speakers to work correctly. Okay, so before we'll get to the build quality, let's take a look at the menu system and at the remote controls. Okay, so we are switching it off and on by this knob that doubles as a switch. And here we can only control two things: volume, and we can select input. As you can see, I'm switching this to coaxial, optical, USB, etc. And why that's important? That's important because the lack of controls on the unit themselves makes the remote very, very important, because if you lose the remote, you'll be able to only switch inputs and change the volume. The remote allows you to power on and off device. You can select the input, you can mute the output, you can change the bass and treble setting with the remote from -12 dB up to 12 dB, and the same goes for treble. Yeah, we're there. And you can also switch the loudness on and choose the loudness level. Okay, then as I said, the STH chip does some EQing for preset settings, so you can choose some of the ones that were programmed into the device: rock, soft rock, jazz, classical, dance, pop, and soft and normal. All of my sound quality tests were done with normal settings, so the EQ was bypassed. But if you're into such things, you can use some of them. However, the actual EQ curves are not documented in the manual. Okay, this one is interesting. The cover, it's a little bit of mystery, because we have actually two settings: HiFi and tone on. I've digged into the documentation. I've reached the producer about that. What does it actually do? And the thing is that the setting this to HiFi means that at the power on, the tone controls will be set to 0. If you leave that at tone on, it means that it will remember your last settings for bass, treble and loudness, and the next time you start the device up, it will restore these settings. Oh, by the way, since I've reached to the manufacturer and I've told them that I'm asking because I'll be doing the video review, Fosi Audio was so nice to provide a coupon code for some lower price to my viewers. So that's something I also put in the description. Okay, so it's good that I didn't forget about that one. Moving on. The volume up and down buttons, and you can switch off the display, which is actually something very nice if you're having this amplifier on your desk next to your face, close to the monitor. So yeah, now let's power this off and let's talk about the build quality. Yeah, it's powered off. Ah yes, it comes with a standard Fosi Audio power brick adapter, and the power brick adapter is, let's unplug this. Yeah, it's here. It's a standard one. It's 24 volts, 4.5 amperes, So that's actually quite powerful. It has quite a range of power available at hand because it's 108 watts. And as I said, it's the theory says it's like 2 channels per 50 ohms, but the practice would be closer to 2 channels for 27 watts output power. Okay, so the build quality. In order to disassemble the device, let's remove the antenna. It's not necessary, but yeah, you need to remove the 4 screws that are in corners here, and you need to remove the knob. You do that just by pulling the knob. It's not so easy. Yeah, it takes few pulls and it's gone. Then you'll have to remove the nut that's on the thread here. I've already done that. And you need to remove 2 screws that are here. The front is held by another 2 screws that are underneath this plastic that's on the display. But this will allow you to remove the PCB board. You can pull it out, but you have to be careful because the front display is connected to the actual PCB by a flat cable, and the range of the cable is like that. So if I would pull this out more, I would break the connection, and that would be a problem because then I would have to remove the front plastic panel from the display. Okay, so what's interesting that we can see inside of the device? Qualcomm chip QC3031, that's responsible for the Bluetooth communication. We have operational amplifier, let's have it like that. Yeah, it's NE5532, so a standard operational amplifier. I kind of miss the possibility to replace this one with something that I would choose. We have Cirrus Logic 8422CN. We have C-Media chip here, but I don't think my camera will be able to focus on the marking because it's very small. Yeah, nothing. We have a clock chip here. Yep, like that. The capacitors are quite cheap. These are Samsung. I don't know the brand. Yes, but they are here. The capacity for these, let's take a look. Yeah, 1000 microfarads, so we have 2000 microfarads. Could be better, but it's good enough. Okay, the actual amplifier, the actual STM chip is underneath the radiator, the heatsink. It could be removed by unscrewing these 2 screws, but I haven't done that because I fear that it can get messy getting it back to place since I cannot fully remove the PCB. Inside here you can actually see the control unit, the MCU. It's using Artery 8052F421K817 chipset, and using my flashlight I was able to read the PCB description that's deep down there, and the PCB says it's dated. The PCB is dated for 2023. It was actually 20th of May dated there, and the version of the PCB is described as V1-2. So if that's important, if you'll be looking for something like that on your PCB boards. So all in all, very simple build, quite nice build quality because as you can see the case is quite thick, it's sturdy and solid. I've already covered the front controls, the IR control, so let's take a look at the back. And here we have Bluetooth antenna, auxiliary input. This is actually a single-ended input, but it's not using RCA jacks, RCA connectors, because there is no space for them. It's using 3.5 stereo millimeter standard jack. USB cable for your PC input, optical input, and coaxial SPDF input. This USB doesn't require any kind of driver. It's a class 2 USB device, so it works driverless in all Linux and Windows systems. And here we have subwoofer output. It's for connecting your powered subwoofer. You don't have any cutoff frequency regulation here, so you cannot choose anything, but that's fine with me, because basically all of powered subwoofers that I've seen and used have that built into them. So you're basically setting the cutoff and the volume level on the subwoofer side. And you have speaker tabs for the right and left channel, and these are quite closely spaced together, because remember, that's a small desktop amplifier. And we have a power input here. Okay, so we've covered the build. Let's place that here again. Now, how does it sound? For $100 that you have to actually pay for it, including sale price and some coupons from AliExpress, it sounds actually very surprisingly good. Starting with my usual way of describing the amplifiers. Oh, by the way, I didn't give any kind of slack to this amplifier. It went through the same listening procedure as every other amplifier that I'm testing and reviewing in my channel. The test setup was actually, in a way, ridiculous, because I've connected this amplifier to my Martin Logan Motion 55 XTI speakers, which are basically like 20 times more expensive. And I've used QED Anniversary XD silver cables, which I think are close to the price to the amplifier itself. So anyway, the goal was to test the absolute maximum limits of the amplifier without any kind of bottlenecks around it. Well, in your setup, as it will be with my desktop setup, you'll be probably using speakers that are closer in price to the price of this amplifier. So anyway, getting back to the video. The bass. The bass has a very nice low rumble. It's fast and precise, but it does lack some, let's say, organic sound. You can clearly hear that it's a D-class amplifier, but it's not bad. It's not bad for a D-class, it's actually quite good. And again, that's quite normal for the price. There is no mid-bass bleed. I always check for that, because I hate that. I hate if the bass is bloated, and if the bass and when the bass is actually covering the mid-range. It's not the case with this amplifier. The bass is tightly controlled and it's not bleeding into mids. Okay, moving on to the mid-range. Mid-range is detailed, but if I may say, a little bit dry. It doesn't have that, I don't know, warm, organic feel. It's vibrant, so all the vibrating words and so it goes by Jennifer Warnes are there. But it does lack some high-end naturality. But again, that's quite expected given the price of this amplifier. The S sounds are dry. They are not sibilant, but they may be bordering on sibilant for some particular tracks. However, in my case, they were not. Even with this unforgiving, very transparent speakers, they were bordering on being sibilant, but they did not cross that border at any time. Okay, moving to treble. All the D-class qualities, properly deployed D-class properties are here. So the treble is very airy and transparent, it's very detailed, again a little bit dry, sometimes can be a little bit grainy, but this can also be good. That actually depends on the music genres that you're listening to, because this grain, this kind of grit will be very good for everything that's rock, metal, etc. So I actually like that. It was not ideally smooth, but again, that's perfectly fine, and that can actually help with some kinds of music. Okay, the detail. I was quite surprised. I shouldn't be, I suppose, because D-class amplifiers are usually detailed, but this one is way more detailed than TPA 3255 implementations that I've tested so far. So, there is a song, Hey Now, by London Grammar. I have a vinyl rip of that song, and being a vinyl rip, it includes all of cracks and small noises that were also ripped from vinyl. All the small stupid ticks and pops are there, and I actually like that. Because when listening with good quality speakers, these pops and cracks are floating in the space between speakers in front of you, and I actually enjoy them. But the same goes for the actual detail of the song, of the track. All the detail that's been hidden and covered in the track can be recovered by this particular amplifier, and this is the standout quality of this unit. To be precise, for example, if you know And So It Goes by Jennifer Warnes, have you ever heard before that at exactly 1.33 seconds mark, you can hear Jennifer closing her lips? That's something that I haven't heard and haven't noticed with any other gear up to date. And it actually surprised me very much, because that's something that I wasn't totally wasn't expecting from that kind of amplifier, that small desktop thing that you could and would probably mostly use for your computer listening experience. So the detail here is very, very good, and again, this detail is not given to you in how should I put this, tiring way. It doesn't flood you with the detail, but you'll find yourself surprised by the small things that you'll be hearing probably for the first time. Once again, this is a standout feature of this amplifier, and this is something that surprised me very much. Totally unexpected. Okay, getting from detail to scene and imaging. This amplifier has excellent center image. It has very good left and right positioning. It easily gets the sound away from the speakers. It has quite good depth information. It has little height information, but again, height information is very hard even for way more expensive devices. Now let's turn this on because it will be looking better. Because, you know, it was like talking head video without the actual head, so let's have at least a display to play. By the way, I know I'm digressing, but you probably noticed that it's a very nice thing that when I'm changing the volume level, the display changes to show the big letter information, big number information for the volume level. That's something very useful, and I think that other special digital to analog converter manufacturers could learn this little trick from Fosi Audio. Okay, so we're talking about the depth and height information. Getting back to that, it has very good and precise positioning. Once again, that's the treat for D-class amplifiers. This is my first contact with STM D-class amplifiers. I've been usually listening to Texas Instrument chips, and this one is different. This one is different. It does some things in a better way than Texas Instrument chips. On the other hand, Texas Instrument chips are better in other areas. So I could probably see a race here, and a race that will be beneficial to the audio listeners, because if they'll join their forces, or if they see it as a challenge that there are some areas that can be improved, we'll all be benefiting from that. Okay, so closing that part, moving to the most, at least for me, most interesting part. So loose thoughts and the summary. And this covers all the notes, all the things that I thought that do not fall into previously discussed areas. It's very, very fast. It's precise and fast, and that's something that I like in my setups. I don't like my music to be slow, to be muddy. I like my music to be fast and precise. It would benefit from blackier background, because you can actually hear in quiet passages, or when your music suddenly stops and there is a momentary silence, like, I don't know, half a second or less, you can actually hear that there is a bit of the noise in the background. You probably won't be able to hear that with speakers in the price range of this amplifier, but remember, I was testing this with speakers that were 20 times as expensive. Yes, 20 times, not 2 times, 20 times. So it's there, but it didn't bother me at all, because when it's playing, the music, the actual sound covers all this small background noise. Okay, so when you're not listening to your music, when there is no signal input, it's very quick to shut the power output down, which basically means that you won't be able to hear any kind of noise or hissing with your speakers, even on maximum volume, which is 100, by the way, 99, because if there's no signal input, the speaker output is cut off, which is also a good idea. Okay, so getting back to my notes. It's surprisingly good for such a ridiculously low price. And all the deficiencies that I've told you about, that it could be less drier, that it could have less noise, it could have better black background, will be totally covered by your speakers that you'll be usually pairing with this amplifier. Because you'll be looking for something that will be a price match, even if you'd go to twice as that. So you'd get speakers in $200 range. They will still be a bottleneck for that amplifier. It can go better. Okay, so basically that's a very good solution for your desktop amplifier, because it includes a digital to analog converter, it has a subwoofer output, it has a remote, and the display can be switched off. So it's something very good to have on your desktop, handy next to your monitor, doesn't take a lot of space. I may try to actually attach a photo to this video when I'll replace my current amplifier on my desktop with this one. So you'll see how little space it does take, and how little space I have on my desk. Okay, so I really like that. I was actually very surprised by the quality of the sound, given that I was testing it in such a ridiculous setup. And the closing thought on that, my summary would be that although it was tested in a so expensive setup, it didn't embarrass itself. It was actually surprisingly good in some areas. So that's very interesting thing for me. And I've learned a couple of new things about STM integrated D-class amplifiers. So, if you liked that video, if it helped you in any way to decide whenever you should or should not buy this particular amplifier, you're more than welcome to buy me a beer using super thanks or memberships. And again, links to the particular offer for that amplifier are underneath the video, and I'll try to post this sale code there as well. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope you enjoyed that little video. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more videos. I'll be getting back to my video reviews for bigger clone amplifiers and cables for that matter. Thanks. Bye, guys.